All right, YouTube, it's been a while. April. Well, posted a video up of the tail end of, in the wintertime when I was working on the old Chevy here, right? 78. The last video that you saw that I posted was me trying to bleed the system because there was air in the system. Well, it turns out, I'm gonna make the long story short, was I ruined the power steering pump during this whole process, so therefore it wasn't working. I was pulling my hair out trying to figure out what the heck was going on. Thought it wasn't bled, thought it wasn't bled. Kept trying, reading. People say that it's really difficult, so I believed them, blah, blah, blah. I ended up taking the power steering pump lines off, pressure lines, and I had my buddy holding the line, or, you know, in front of the truck, looking at the lines as I started it. Just, I mean, it got to the point, oil's everywhere, I don't even care. Let's just start ripping stuff apart. It wasn't good. So we had pressure coming out of that pressure line, right? Coming out of the power steering pump. So I figured, well, power steering pump's working, right? So you're getting pressure coming out. Well, obviously it wasn't pumping enough because it wasn't enough for the actual gear to work, to operate correctly, or the power, or the hydro boost, sorry. So I had no brakes, no power steering, as I did in the last one or two videos, part 4 and 5, I believe. So this will be part 6. So here we got, some of you may remember the old 454 I drug back here. The plans of putting this in here, well, it's still the plan, just in the future now. But anyway, I ripped the power steering pump. As you can see, that power steering pump's nice and painted. Well, that's the original off the 350 out of the truck as it was a couple weeks ago. So luckily, this truck was hooked up with hydro boost, so it has both of the return lines going into the pump itself, the reservoir itself, and then the pressure coming out. So I pressed pulled the other pulley off of there and swapped pumps because the brackets were different. Which brings us here. So what you're seeing here is the pump that was off of the, like I said, the 454. I put that back, or put that in there. Works like a charm. Like I said, I've been going nuts with trying to figure this out. It finally steers. And you know, I had all the lines off, pulled the pump off, right? So there's oil everywhere, introduced air into the system. Again, that's the 25th time because of just trying to bleed the system. And as soon as I hooked everything back up, I didn't have to bleed it. Let's just run it, just like I've ever pulled power steering pumps off before. So people were saying, oh, you gotta bleed them, they're such a pain. I guess if I knew that the power steering pump failed, the bleeding process really wasn't that difficult for me. So it was just me thinking I had to bleed it, but in reality, I just needed to replace the pump. So lesson learned, and when you're getting pressure out of your power steering pump doesn't mean it's always working. We'll put it that way. So that's kind of the scoop. And yeah, so now I just got oil all over the place. I'm gonna spruce it up a little bit, and I had all the lines all nice, and now I gotta go back in there and reorganize because actually the returns on this pump are slightly different. This one has a U return coming out of the reservoir and then a straight coming down like that, whereas the other one, it was just a little bit different. So I have to reroute some stuff here, but oh man, we have brakes and we have steering. Tell you what, that's a good deal. Start working on this thing again. You guys are probably going nuts. I know, it's been crazy. Haven't been putting videos up. People are asking me, where's that? It's still here. Just haven't been working on it because I was frustrated trying to bleed it. It's like, we'll keep going.